Sustainable IT enterprise. This is where you look at the IT within any organization, be it an SME or a large enterprise, and it's looking at the IT and how it actually comes together within the organization. So today we're going to be looking at a dental surgery, and within it the customer relationship management tool, which is a piece of software, the digital X-ray and the CAD/CAM system. All in under the idea to reduce the carbon footprint of the surgery. So an overview of IT systems. So you've got the internet, then the firewall, the reduction of silos, the communications cabinet, the software units, the network design, the data storage, backup solutions, the power supply, and then you've got the hardware, which is the customer relationship management tool. Here it's the software system, and the CAD/CAM system as well. When we're looking at this slide, we can see that the customer relationship software is actually sitting outside, away from the internet, and this is for data protection reasons. The customer relationship management tool is not connected up to the internet as regards to virus, and also to make sure that the management tool be kept secure for data protection reasons. Here we see that on the right we've got lots of paperwork. The old system within surgeries had paperwork for everything, and looking after somebody's file was a cumbersome job. If one required to get information, they had to go to the file, duplicate it for a specialist opinion. On the left then we've got the IT system of the CAD/CAM, and sitting on top of that you can see the digital X-ray, the CAD/CAM system, and also the X-rays for a CAT scan up on the left there. So all of this can be logged into the CAD/CAM system within the system for the patient into the customer relationship management tool. The customer relationship management tool here has the patient lying relaxing in the chair whilst the dentist explains what's going on precisely within their system. So there are lots of areas to this. This dentist works under a digital under a microscope, so he can record everything and put it into the CAD/CAM system for the patient. Also, the patient can be informed and educated about what is going on for their precise procedure. So there's benefits of the CAD/CAM system. There's definitely a cost benefit. That's an environmental cost benefit, as paper is reduced or eliminated. An education, the client has the ability to be able to find out more about different procedures like implants or endodontists, or what is an inlay or what is a veneer. And then there's the internal management tool, how many appointments people have turned up for. You can do lots of different analysing. There's lots of analysing tools within the customer relationship management system to be able to send out information to patients, but also to be able to analyse in the background how many people turned up. And there's an ease of flow of that information, no paper, and it's easy to communicate through emails and the ISO 14001. For digital X-rays, there's a low radiation, and also we don't have chemicals as the old X-rays there was lots of chemicals to actually develop them. So it's easy and comfortable for the patient, and there's instant development for the patient to have his X-rays developed there and then with the dentist. And if the dentist sees an issue, he can zoom in and see what is going on within the system. So 3D charting, this can rotate, and the patient can request to have their 3D charting sent to them so they can actually see what's going on within their own mouth. Also, if they require to have a tooth replaced, that they have many choices within that. So they could have an implant or a denture or a bridge. So this can be demonstrated within the 3D chart as well, so it's ease of planning. Or if the dentist requests to have a second opinion, he or she can send that to a specialist and get a second opinion very simply. So now we're going to move on to the CAD/CAM dentistry. Within the CAD/CAM dentistry, it's really important that we have nice aesthetics, that we get rid of the amalgam fillings. Nice white teeth is definitely good for everybody's confidence, and you're smiling, you don't see any horrible amalgam fillings sitting there in the background. So the treatment is very quick. It's a 1 hour treatment for the patient, so there's a reduction of time. Generally before, the dentist had to have 2 appointments for the patient to actually do a filling or definitely a crown. So you'd have to measuring it up and then sending it off to the lab and then bringing it back. But the new CAD/CAM dentistry is supported with crowns, bridges, veneers, 1 appointment by the dentist. So the dentist reviews what's going on. This ceramic procedure, the treatment is developed. The dentist goes in and finds the actual caries or damage, takes that out. Then it's scanned with a 3-dimensional camera, a little pen camera, onto a computer. From that then the dentist takes out a nice ceramic block. They're different colours, puts it into the milling machine, all within the dental surgery, mills it up, and then they have a nice crown to go, or inlay to go back into the patient's mouth. So there's big time saving here. We can see it's only 1 session, it's less than an hour. There's no impressions, no temporaries, no second appointment, and has a very long lifespan, equivalent to gold. So there's been lots of studies on it. It's been the aesthetics are wonderful, as the dentist can actually see what's going on and design the tooth with a little polishing brush to make it more like the other teeth around it, to stain and glaze it in the mouth, unlike conventionally where that was all done in the lab, where the laboratory had to guess what the other teeth looked like. So we're just going to do a little review here. This is what we used to have. You have the amalgam fillings. So just the mercury that's in the amalgam fillings actually equates for 1/3 of all mercury within the water system. So for that reason alone, it would be nice to remove all mercury out of people's teeth. So you can see down on the bottom right the new ceramic CAD/CAM, and really when it's in the mouth, it's very difficult to even know that there's a filling or a crown of any sort there. It just bonds completely in beautifully. So the implications for patients, it's a 1 appointment. So it's designed, milled, fitted and finished within the mouth. Instantly the dentist can see, if there's an issue. Generally there's not, but if it had to be remilled or if it wasn't the right colour, or for whatever reason, the dentist can remill the tooth straight away, because they have everything as a digital, saved digitally on the system, on the CAD/CAM system, on the CEREC system. So it's on 1 anaesthetic, which is nice to know too. There's no temporary crowns, so there's no waiting around. So this is less invasive, not as much sensitivity on the gums or on the teeth. There's a 95% success rate over 20 years, so it reduces the rate of having to, go back near the tooth again. And there's improve and aesthetics for the patient as well, which is nice to know that when you smile, you've got all these nice white ceric porcelain fillings and crowns versus what we see on the top slide. So there is implications for the practice as well. Obviously, the system to purchase is there's a cost associated to that, but there's also a cost benefit for the surgery, and we'll go into that a little later. But there's a reduction in material costs. There's no impression material required or transport of that, so there's a carbon cost and a reduction of that too. There's no infection control between laboratory and lab, and looking after the patient molds while they're going to the lab. Then the digital mold itself, there's no plaster or plastic required, and there's an improved accuracy in the procedure too, and there's an instant review for the patient. So there's an instant reduction in the laboratory fees there performed by the porcelain blocks. There's no mercury, which is very important, and eliminates the question of toxicity, because lots of people have a thing about toxicity within their mouth, and you don't get that taste of battery taste in your mouth that sometimes you might get from the mercury fillings. Also, the radiography and monitoring porcelain allows the transmission of radiograph metals don't. So there's an improved monitoring to be able to monitor what's going on underneath the crown that you cannot do when you've got a mercury filling. You can't actually monitor what's going underneath. So when you've got a leaking mercury filling, you actually have to take it out before you can monitor to know what's going on there. You can't see that through an X-ray. So we'll move here to, this is just on a little analysis. So if you're doing 10 fillings a month, which is not a lot really, the laboratory fee for that for your crown would be €180, and the patient's fee would be 800. So the net then would be 6,200. With the CEREC, it's just 10 again, and then there's no laboratory fee or travel cost there, and the same fee for the patient, who would be much happier, and that would be 8,000. So there's a net benefit of €180, and worked per year, then that would be 3,600 per year, with a net cost of the system of 300. So that actually is, quite substantial savings, and also making patients much happier. And also within that, dentists can work much faster, as there is only one visit. And before, when you had the traditional, there would have been 2 visits for your €800. So it works out a lot better for the dental surgery. So the implications for the environment, it's a 1 appointment CAD/CAM for the design, mill, finish. So people don't have to be travelling back and forth, both the patient and the actual procedure going to and from the lab. There's a reduction in transportation costs there for patients. The digital impressions can be emailed to technicians or third parties, given professional communication. So, if there was a impression that maybe needed to have a bridge, or, implants, maybe a 6-unit bridge, where the dentist decided that he didn't want to use it within the surgery, they would send it out to the lab. He could do that, or she could do that, and it would definitely reduce the procedure in that, the environmental impact, as the digital models are more efficient, and also you don't have to look at landfill for the models themselves, after time you've got the old model was made of kind of a concrete, and they would go into landfill. The amalgam is a huge part of I think the CAD/CAM system going forward, and the environmental impact. With the new ceramic block, it reduces the amalgam, and amalgam is made up, as we all know, of mercury, silver, and copper. So elimination of amalgam will reduce the mining and the use of both toxic and valuable commodities. And the environmental impact for mining and the waste on that, as well as the fact that the mercury goes back into the water through through just eating, and so it eliminates mercury within the water. So overall, CAD/CAM reduces costs, is better for the environment. The only issue is that CAD/CAM dentistry is still very much an early adopter, and only 4% of world dentists use the CAD/CAM system. That's about 100,000, with the highest percentage being in Germany, which is 20,000 dentists. So my conclusion. IT architecture which would be sustainable, reviewing the CAD/CAM system, the customer relationship management system, the digital x-rays, is better for the environment, better for patients, and better for the overall efficiency of the surgery. But there is one question: how can we get more dentists to use the technology? As it's only at 4% at the moment. But I think this is something that's happening, and it's at the early adoption stage, but it is rising every year. There's more dentists buying into this, as they can see the environmental impact, the aesthetic impact for patients, and the cost implications, and the reduction of cost, and making their practice leaner and more efficient in the long run.